Last 40 years, we've fallen hard for that famous Clooney charm.
You're a thief and a liar.
I only lied about being a thief.
And we can't forget that cheeky sense of humour that makes everyone swoon for the Cloon.
Just in the hip, hop, a heavy to the heavy to the hip, hip, hop, you don't stop, rock to the bang, bang, boogie, say up, jump, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to be.
While his on-screen work has scored him an Oscar, 4 Golden Globes and an Emmy, his off-screen credits are just as impressive, directing 6 films and picking up a 2nd Oscar.
Was this a challenge? Is this like a challenge you gave yourself? Can I make a great movie with a terrible actor?
Oh, you're talking about Matt, you mean?
Yeah, Matt, yeah.
Well, we got Matt
Damon.
because we couldn't afford Brad Pitt.
He's proven he can do it all, and now he's doing it all at once, playing the role of director, producer, and lead actor in his latest film, The Midnight Sky.
There is an antenna that's stronger than ours. We get to that antenna, they'll hear us.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, really good.
George, welcome to the project and congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.
I'm wondering, did you manage to wrap filming before COVID hit, or did you also have to play the role of Chief Health and Safety Officer as well?
That's a job I was a doctor on ER. Believe me, you don't want that job.
I'm thinking.
We wrapped in early February, and then we came to LA to edit. And the minute we got to LA, they shut us down, and we had to all come home and cut it home.
Hello, this is Barbeau Observatory. An outpost child has been let. What's your name? She's an unidentified child. She's 7 or 8. She's alone. Somebody has to come back.
Now, your 7-year-old co-star, Kaylin Springall, she's extraordinary. I mean, the job that you gave her is a big one, particularly for a 7-year-old. Not only does she not say a word in the movie, it's a very first film, and you put her in some really hectic snowstorm scenes.
Well, first of all, she's 35 years old. I think it's important you understand.
She holds it well.
She does. She looks good for 35. You know, she's a tough little Irish kid, and we went out. The very first stuff we shot was in Iceland. And, we get in those sort of ice storm tornadoes, and she'd hold her ground, and we were all sort of tied to one another so nobody could get lost. And she was just great. And, she did everything in one take, which really screwed it up for the rest of the actors, including myself. I'd go to the other actors, and I'd say, she did it in one take. So think about that.
When you star and you produce and direct, have you got someone you trust who is brave enough to say to you, George Clooney, I'm sorry, that wasn't your finest work. You're going to have to do that again?
Yes, in fact, I always make them use my full name, George Clooney, when they say it, too. My best friend for 40 years has been my producing partner. We won an Oscar together for Argo. He's really smart. He's a good director as well. And he sits at the monitor next to me. And so in general, you don't want to do more takes on yourself than you do on other people. You look like a jerk, right? So I'll do a take and go, it's fine. And then Grant will look over and go, do another take, go back in there and do another take. So I have some help.
The Midnight Sky is set in a post-apocalyptic world, and it feels alarmingly realistic.
That's either. It's a spaceship that we hoped would be our future. I have to warn them about the conditions on Earth.
Between the pandemic, 4 years of the presidency of Donald Trump and the effects we're now seeing of climate change right across the planet, I'm wondering what you would like audiences to take away from this film, given that it's set in 2049 in a post-apocalyptic planet Earth.
Well, it's a funny thing. It is post-apocalyptic, but it is very hopeful. These people are seeking redemption. And I think that this idea of mankind is actually worth it. It's worth the fight. It's worth doing all those things. And the other thing, and the reason I thought it was important was, if you look at Earth and it's pretty much destroyed, you kind of go, well, all these things we did to ourselves. And if we do them to ourselves, if we're doing them to ourselves, then we can not do them. If it's man doing it, then man can stop. And so I feel like, yeah, it's a warning. Of course, it's a warning. But more than anything else, it's hopeful in saying that, I really, truly am an optimist. I do believe we figure these things out. We had an election, and we have a new president coming in on January 20th. So we're starting in the right direction.
We're not receiving anything.
That puts our last contact with Mission Control at
3 weeks.
Felicity Jones fell pregnant very shortly after you cast her in her role. How was that conversation when she had to tell you, look, things might be about to change around here?
Well, it wasn't just after we cast it. We were shooting. We shot all my stuff first all the way up to the first of the year. And then we started the space stuff afterwards. So she told me in mid-October, she called me and said, I'm pregnant. And we're like, fantastic. And then it's like, what do we do? And then, you know, we sat and we talked about it, and I said, look, she's pregnant. You know, they're on a 2-year trip. She falls in love. She's pregnant. And ultimately, it's a funny thing. It's now when you see it, it feels as if it should have always been part of the story, you know.
George went through a physical transformation for this role, losing a bunch of weight and growing out his hair and beard. And his kids thought all their Christmases had come at once.
The kids did think I was Santa Claus, but it didn't play well. You know, my wife and daughter in particular were thrilled when it all came off over the holiday season. My son, on the other hand, because I would go to work and I would be playing with this massive beard, and I'd reach in and I'd pull something and it would be like a toy that my son had hidden in my beard. So he liked it.
George, lovely to have you on the project.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You were glowing. You were totally glowing.
Yeah, I didn't hide it very well, did I?
Can't hide it at
But
all.
isn't he a great chat? What a good guy.
Yeah, he was really, really up for a good chat.
Oh, just got a text from Pete. I'll read it later. You can catch...
Not me.
No, not that. You can catch Midnight Sky on Netflix from December 23.